Good evening. You're now with me, Andy Gui, for TVS Nightline. On to the headlining stories. The BUMIPUTERA community in Sarawak is urged to strengthen its mastery of science, technology, engineering and mathematics or STEM, as well as technical and vocational education and training at TVET to avoid wider economic disparities in the future. Sarawak Governor Tun Bain Sri Dr. Wan Junaidi Tuanku Jaafar says proficiency in both fields is crucial to meet the demands of educational transformation and the future job market. In his Gawai Dayak 2026 message, Wan Junaidi says the trend of pursuing fields of study with weaker market demand could limit employment opportunities for the BUMIPUTERA community. Hence, he calls on community leaders and parents to play a more active role in guiding young people towards educational pathways that match future industry needs. At the same time, he describes the Gawai Dayak celebration as an important platform for strengthening unity and goodwill among Sarawak's diverse communities. He expresses confidence that the Dayak community and other BUMIPUTERA groups will continue to play a vital role in both traditional economic sectors and modern technology-driven industries. The Sarawak government plans to reduce timber exports as part of its commitment to environmental sustainability and its transition towards a green economy. Premier Datuk Patinggi Tan Sri Abang Johari Tunopeng says the move reflects the state's long-term strategy to balance economic development with environmental protection.
With regards to our effort towards green economic transition, there will be reduction in the export of timber as we emphasize on environmental sustainability. However, the government encourages downstream industries of planted forests for the dual purpose of producing biomass and carbon sink. This is in line with our green economic policy, embodying a vision of turning Sarawak into a green economic hub in the region.
Abang Johari says the era of relying solely on natural resources to drive economic growth has passed. He says Sarawak is now focused on building a new economy that can deliver sustainable growth and create high-value opportunities through innovation, technology and human capital development. At the same time, the state government is encouraging the development of planted forests and downstream industries to support biomass production and carbon capture initiatives. Abang Johari adds that Sarawak will continue to explore new opportunities in the global economy, including green energy and other sustainable industries, to strengthen its position as a regional green economic hub. The Sarawak government is calling for greater participation of local talent and businesses in the state's growing high-tech industries as it pursues an innovation-driven and high-value economy. Deputy Premier Dato' Amar Awang Tengah Ali Hassan, in a statement, has urged South Korean-based OCI Holdings Limited to continue prioritizing local employment and local content in its operations and future expansion plans in Sarawak. Earlier on Friday, Awang Tengah led the Sarawak delegation to OCI Holdings headquarters in Seoul as part of efforts to further strengthen investment ties and economic cooperation between Sarawak and South Korea. Currently, OCI Terrace's operations in Samalaju employ about 1,100 workers, with Sarawakians making up 90% of the workforce. The statement also highlighted OCI's continued confidence in the state's industrial ecosystem through its expansion projects with Kamho P&B Chemicals Incorporated and Tokuyama Corporation via joint ventures OCI, Kamho and OTSM. Awang Tengah also expresses confidence in OCI's long-term commitment to Sarawak and stresses that the state government would continue to maintain investor-friendly policies and a proactive approach to attract quality investments. He adds that such collaboration would help drive economic growth while creating more opportunities for local talent and businesses. Hello there and welcome back. Norway's Defense Minister Tore Sandvik has apologized to Malaysia over his government's decision to revoke the export license for the Naval Strike Missile or the NSM system. Defense Minister Sri Mohammed Khalid Nordin says the apology was conveyed during a bilateral meeting held on the sidelines of the 23rd IISS Shangri-La Dialogue in Singapore on Sunday. He further says Sandvik also explained the reasons behind the Norwegian government's decision to cancel the export license. The Norwegian government previously revoked the export license for the NSM system and its launches to Malaysia, citing national security considerations. According to Kongsberg's Defence and Aerospace, the NSM procurement agreement between the Royal Malaysian Navy and the company was signed in April 2018. The 571.9 million ringgit contract was intended to equip 6 littoral combat ships currently under construction for the Royal Malaysian Navy. Mohammed Khalid says Malaysia is also seeking Norway's cooperation in securing a refund of payment already made under the contract, estimated at about 95% of its total value. He adds that the government has issued a formal letter of demand to the company involved and is now awaiting a response from the Norwegian government. The Hire Purchase Amendment Act 2026 is set to take effect on June 1st, with 11 financial institutions and hire purchase providers ready to offer financing under the new legal framework. Domestic Trade and Cost of Living Minister Dato' Armizan Muhammad Ali says the amendments are designed to strengthen consumer protection and create a fairer, more transparent and competitive hire purchase system. Armizan says the implementation follows amendments to the Hire Purchase Act 1967 passed by Parliament last year as part of efforts to enhance the country's consumer credit ecosystem. In a statement issued on Sunday, he notes that consumers have long raised concerns about hidden interest charges in vehicle financing and high outstanding loan balances even after early settlement. To address these issues, the amendments abolish the use of the flat interest rate method and the Rule of 78, which previously allocated a large portion of early installments towards interest payments. The changes are expected to make early loan settlements more transparent and equitable, while allowing consumers to enjoy greater savings. Armizan adds that the amendments also allow the use of digital signatures and electronic document submissions for hire purchase agreements in line with the national digitalization agenda. As negotiations continue over easing tensions in West Asia, US President Donald Trump says Iran has agreed not to develop or acquire nuclear weapons under a proposed deal currently being discussed. Trump says the key conditions for any agreement remain preventing Iran from obtaining nuclear weapons and reopening the Strait of Hormuz.
I would rather get a deal because we can open the strait immediately upon signing. The one guarantee that I have to have is that there will be no nuclear weapons. They've agreed to that. And it was very interesting. They originally said, we will not develop a nuclear weapon. I said, well, what happens if you buy a nuclear weapon? So now it says we will not develop or in any way purchase a military weapon. That's a big difference. So we're getting what we want slowly. Very tough negotiators.
On Saturday, media reports said Trump had sent a revised proposal to Tehran that included tougher terms than earlier drafts. While he previously expressed optimism about reaching an agreement, Trump struck a more cautious tone, saying progress is being made but warning that talks could still break down if U.S. demands are not met. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has directed the military to expand its control to 70% of the Gaza Strip, a move that contradicts the terms of the US-brokered ceasefire agreement between Israel and Hamas, which limits Israeli control to 53% of the enclave. The 2025 agreement, endorsed by a UN Security Council resolution, called for a phased Israeli withdrawal from Gaza. in exchange for Hamas disarming and foregoing its authority over the territory. However, intermittent clashes have continued, with Israeli forces gradually advancing further into the enclave.
אנחנו יכולים למנף את הכוח שלנו עם הרבה כיוונים. תצטרך עוד למחוץ את חיזבאללה. אנחנו כרגע לופתים את חמאס, כן? אנחנו עכשיו ב-60% משטח הרצועה, אתם יודעים את זה. היינו ב-50, עברנו ל-60. הדירקטיבה שלי היא לעבור תלכו לפי הסדר. קודם כל 70, בואו נתחיל בזה. לופתים אותם מכל עבר, אנחנו נטפל בשאריות.
Earlier this week, Hamas accused Israel of seeking to establish military rule over Gaza by force, saying such actions further diminish the prospects for de-escalation. The group has refused to disarm or surrender its weapons, according to Bulgarian diplomat who is overseeing implementation of the ceasefire agreement. In March, representatives of the Gaza-based movement held talks with the US-led Board of Peace, an international body created by US President Donald Trump in January as part of a post-war reconstruction framework for Gaza. That initiative has since lost momentum amid the US-Israeli war with Iran. The conflict in Gaza began after Hamas-led militants attacked southern Israel on October 7, 2023, killing about 1,200 people and taking more than 250 hostages. According to local health authorities, Israel responded with a large-scale air and ground campaign that has killed more than 72,000 people in Gaza. Now, the fate of two men still remains unknown, with the pair believed to still be trapped even deeper inside a semi-submerged cave in Laos. Rescuers are preparing a high-risk search operation to locate the pair using information provided by survivors who have already been brought to safety. Nearly 2 weeks ago, 7 men were reportedly stranded inside the cave after flash floods struck while they were searching for gold. Later on Wednesday, 5 of them were found alive, sheltering in a narrow shaft around 300 meters from the cave entrance. Rescue divers later managed to extract 1 man on Friday, followed by 4 others on Saturday, after pumping out water from the cave, as well as delivering food and medicine to the victims. Rescue teams on Sunday are hoping to successfully locate the remaining 2 men using information about the cave system provided by those already hospitalized. Those were the updates on TVS Nightline, and on behalf of TVS, for those celebrating, we'd like to wish you a Selamat Hari Raya. Thank you for watching. Have a good night.